Hey guys, I figured I'd show you the latest in my arcade restoration that I'm trying to do. I wouldn't even really call it a restoration. I'm just trying to get it a little bit cleaned up and everything, take care of some of the problems small problems that it had. One of the problems it had was on the plexiglass for the control panel. Up in this corner, looks like someone took like a Brillo pad or something and just scuffed it up really bad. It was looking pretty rough. I mean, when it was on the machine, it really stuck out. Also, somebody spilled soda or alcohol or something right around here, and it was in between the plexi and the sticker here, and it was actually still wet. And so I pulled this off and cleaned this up really good. Just kind of went over it with a towel. As you can see, this artwork on here is just flawless. I mean, there is nothing wrong with this at all. Absolutely nothing. It's perfect. So my only problems then was the plexiglass, and I was going to just go and buy another piece, but I thought, you know, maybe I'll just try to polish it out a little bit. A new piece of plexiglass is like 20-30 bucks, I think, and I'd have to get a bigger piece and cut it down, and I don't really have the tools to cut it down or to drill these holes out. So I figured I'd try to buff the scuffs out. I heard that you could do that, and I do have a Dremel with a buffing wheel. I've never used it before. I don't really know how to use it. I think it turned out pretty decent. Here you can see where the scuffs were. Now these marks here, I did accidentally hold the wheel in one spot, I guess, for too long, and it did burn it. It did melt it a little bit. And there is, you know, a bunch of scratches. When you hold it up to the light, you can really see all the scratches. But you figure for a machine that was built in '93, and I'm pretty sure this is original, the buttons still had the like hot glue that was put on the bottom of the nuts that hold the buttons on. So I'm imagining that's all original. This is probably original. So for a '93, you're gonna have scratches and everything. But the good news is, I thought, you know, I burned through it. It's gonna look worse, but I should have did it before of how this looked before I buffed it out. It was really noticeable, and it sat right above the start button here. It just looked like somebody took a Brillo pad and just, you know, tried to, I don't know what they're trying to do, but the good news is, despite the burned holes, when it is on, you can't even see it. You can't even see the melt marks. Now there's a little bit of red on here. That's from the polishing paste or whatever that I was using. But with the cover on now, I mean, obviously the spill is gone from over in here. It was like down to here, wet, sticky, whatever. I guess soda or something. But as you can see, I don't have the best of light in here, but notice a huge noticeable improvement. Like before, part of this start was, you could barely even see it because of all the scratches, and above it was really bad. It was, I mean, it was a pretty big section. But I mean, now it's, even when you get close, you can't, it looks flawless. You can't see the burns. I guess the burns are up around here. I mean, you can't even see them, you know, unless you run your hand across it or whatever. And that's pretty much what I was going for. It doesn't have to be flawless. I mean, I'm going to play it, and if it saves me $20, $30 and having to get special tools to cut and drill the holes, you know, that's great. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to get this put back together later on today, probably. Very pleased. I'm glad I saw that you could do that, so I'm very happy with how that turned out. I didn't expect it to turn out as good. And another thing that I did, the cabinet had its nicks and everything, you know, scrapes on the side artwork, and especially around the back there. I didn't want to completely sand the cabinet down and Bondo over it and, you know, fill in the holes and everything and get rid of this artwork, which is, I think, in pretty good shape for a machine of its age. Definitely. I mean, of course, it has its scrapes and everything, but it was built in '93, so You know, you figure kids beating it up and trying to get free plays out of it and defacing it and stuff. But luckily, this machine seems like it was pretty well cared for. There was, you know, obvious scrapes and scratches around the edges, around the side here. And like I said, I didn't want to sand it down. I mean, to do a full-on restoration, I'd have to sand everything down and fill in some of the nicks and holes and sand it down and, you know, repaint it. And then I'd have to find somebody to make a new sticker of Raiden to put on the side. Which then, I mean, you could get it close to what it looks like, you know, maybe even exact, but it's still not original in my mind. And that's what I'm trying to do, is keep this as original as I can, but just kind of fix up some of the imperfections and everything, so they're maybe not as noticeable. And one of the ideas I got with the scrapes around the edges, what I did was took a black magic marker and just kind of filled in where the imperfections and the scrapes and everything were. I mean, the whole way around the cabinet. Back here, there's a chunk missing. Where is it? Right there. And I gotta try to go over it a little bit better, but I did try to fill it in so it's not as noticeable. All the way down the back. I mean, to fix that, I'd have to sand it down and fill it in, and I'm not that good with woodworking stuff, so. And it would probably never match unless I sanded the whole thing down. I mean, it would still look, you know, obvious if I just sanded that part down and painted it. The paint, I'm sure, wouldn't match with this paint. So what I'm trying to do is just keep the original artwork and everything on the machine, but just get it, you know, a little bit nicer looking. So, you know, all around the front here and sides, there was some marks and scratches, and around here where it says midway, there were some around the edges. Now, when it's in the light, like this side right now, it faces towards my light, so you can kind of see the imperfections a little bit better. If you come over to this side where it's not as much light, I mean, this side was maybe not as bad, but it had some marks and stuff. But from a distance and even up close on this side, you can't even really tell. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, Raiden. Oh, I'm gonna block the light, I'm sure. Let me get my flashlight. Raiden's shirt. Right there, you can see where I actually took a blue, like a baby blue marker, and colored his shirt in there. I mean, when I shine this light on, you can see it, but I mean, even if I had a light on this side, you know, it's still from a distance, you're not going to notice it. It just makes it, you know, blend in a little bit. I think it looks a lot better than it did now. That was one of my things about the machine. Also in the front, this front panel here was pretty flawless. There was just you can see I didn't touch any of that all except for that left right, sorry, yeah, that left right, that left bottom corner right here. When I shine the light on it, you can see it better, but again, with no flashlight shining on it, you can't even tell. And I touched some spots up on the coin door, which the front isn't really that bad. I know you can't see. I'm sorry for the lighting conditions. It's just live in an old house. There's no overhead lights except for that one, and I have to have all these lamps around. So the lighting conditions aren't the best. I believe my next thing, I am going to go over it again and maybe go over some spots and maybe need like a second coat or whatever you want to call it of permanent marker to maybe make it a little bit darker, help it blend in a little bit. I'm going to try to see if I have a white marker to do his shirt, like on his sleeve. There's a couple like little pinholes where there's like nicks and stuff like that on it. But overall, I am very pleased. And a lot of this smudges and everything is just because after I put the marker on, I took my hand and kind of wiped the excess off. So this will come off. So that's not an issue. And that's pretty much it. I got I'm going to get new T-molding for it. I mean, the T-molding is not in that bad a shape. Now, of course, I did touch some of it with the marker, so it's black now. But I didn't really care because I knew I was going to be replacing it. Oh, excuse me. This is the biggest issue right here. So I'm probably gonna get red T-molding. I'm in the process of trying to get a hold of this guy who has an MK1 PCB that I'm going to probably pop in here. From what I saw, it'll pop right in and work with no modifications, just switch the board. But here's inside. I got all my buttons labeled and just laying in there. Also, I'm going to be getting, since I want to put Ultimate Mortal Kombat in here eventually and MK1, I'm not sure whether I want to get, there's somebody that makes marquees that go around, like a sticker that goes around the bezel that has all the characters' moves and everything. So I'm not sure which sticker I want to get. Do I want to get, I mean, I'm probably going to play Ultimate MK the most, so I'll probably just get one of those made up. Not quite sure whether the moves stayed the same from like MK1, MK2 to MK3 Ultimate. Not sure if the moves are the same, so you know, if they are, that'd be even better, because Ultimate would have all the characters and have all their moves. I might put MK4 in here as well, but that's not one of my favorite. I really don't like MK4, so if I do put it in, I'll look the moves up, because I probably won't be playing that as much. That's pretty much it. Just wanted to show you guys how it came along. I'm very pleased with sanding this thing down. I mean, polishing it. It just turned out great. I should have made a video of it before. Maybe you can see in one of my old videos. Maybe you can actually see it. I mean, it was like probably like that wide, and it went all the way across. And it just looks like somebody took like a steel scrubber and just scrubbed it. And there was remnants of tape on there, so maybe they tried to remove the tape that way. I don't know, but I'm very, very, very pleased with it. Also, trying to get a light bulb for my coin mech. If I can get a hold of this guy again that has the MK1 board, he's gonna sell it to me for like $65, the PCB and the soundboard all together with the sound pot. So that's a pretty good deal, I guess, and it's working. But he just doesn't seem to be interested in selling it to me, so he's not returning my calls, and called him a bunch of times, left messages. He just doesn't respond back to me, so I may end up just getting one on eBay, paying a little extra, but you know, probably by the time I'd ever get a hold of this guy to actually get it, I can have one shipped to me from eBay. So anyway, thanks guys for looking, and I'll make sure to make another video once I do any more modifications or updates to it.